right, welcome back to another episode of Game Winning Podcast. Connor here with Bryce and Dula for the second week in a row. We have a lot on the table today. We're going to try to get it done in ample time. We have some headlines, and we're also going to get into we're going to do a little different segment, like an NBA thesis segment. We're all fans of three different teams here in the Eastern Conference, and we're going to give our thoughts on what we think of our teams. It's going to get very hot and heavy and interesting. And then we're going to get into three of our most impactful NFL free agents that we think and where they're going to end up. So Bryce, kick us off with these headlines we got this week.
Yeah, so one of the more almost potentially really devastating headlines was the Tiger Woods accident. For a while, at least for a few hours, nobody really knew what happened except for the fact that he was in some really bad car roll accident and they had to use the jaws of life to get him out. And then after that, it was kind of like radio silence for a while. Everyone was like, oh shit, what happened? Is he alive? Is he dead? What's going on? And then slowly some stuff came out and turns out he's okay. Has a compound leg fracture, which fucking blows. That's horrible. And yeah, that's a really scary situation, especially with all the big athletes we've been losing in the past year. It's crazy. It's like a curse. 2020, 2021, the year of athletes dying, apparently.
It's so sad. You said that so sad. But yeah, you're right. Like you said that so I want to be, I don't know. But anyway, I was confused about the whole accident because there were two different reports. I was seeing two different things. One of them was he was cut off, and then I guess just got out of control, and then the car went crazy, and then the other one was well, we don't know the details of the accident yet. Do either of you know the full details of what happened with the accident?
I don't. I just know that they apparently
the cause of it.
Yeah, they apparently ruled it just an accident. There was he wasn't on drugs this time or whatever, or under the influence at all. That's what all I saw was the ruling. I don't know exactly what happened. I also heard that he was on his way to work out with Justin Herbert and Drew Brees or something with their golf, or I don't know. Weird.
It was a training shoot.
Yeah. And he did one the day before with Dwayne Wade. And I literally 2 hours before that headline broke. Yeah. I saw the pictures Dwayne Wade posted. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then 2 hours later, it happened. It was wild.
Yeah, I don't
So
know. I don't know if he's ever gonna... What's up?
You looked like you were about to say something before. I didn't want you to.
A couple things there. No, yeah, it's just... First of all, I don't think he's ever going to play golf again, unfortunately. He was close to it anyway after his last back surgery, but after the compound leg fracture, I think if we do see him back, it's one of the greatest comeback stories, if not the greatest comeback story we'll ever see outside of Alex Smith. But also, I thought it was weird that the sheriff said he wasn't drunk. Instead of saying he wasn't under the influence, he said he wasn't drunk.
Yeah.
He just had back surgery. There's a potential that, I don't know. I don't want to be that guy who's Tiger could have been under the influence, but someone's got to say it, right?
So you texted us. You texted, in our little Slack chat that he might have been on the pills, and I was like, oh my god, maybe he was. And then after you said that, I saw the report that said the sheriff said that he wasn't drunk.
Oh, I didn't see
say
that part.
That he goes.
Exactly.
So I saw that and I was like, that's not pills. So I was like, so maybe, and I know none of us want to be that guy, but I mean, he does have some problems.
He's having them before.
So it's a possibility. I know that they're, especially with all the injuries he had, I think they're going to protect this situation regardless of what it is. But I do think that is a possibility.
Yeah. Which is sad. It's a whole, that's a whole thing. Like Dula said, he might not golf again, which it's rough. It's a rough way to just, end your career out of nowhere.
He was close to it before that, but
yeah, true.
Yeah. This kind of makes it a 98% chance he doesn't, whereas more 75 before.
Mm-hmm.
Get better soon, Tiger. If you're listening to this podcast,
yeah, let's get him on.
All right, I don't know how to transition from that.
Well, he probably won't because I accused him of being on pills. So.
Oh yeah, he stopped listening at this point. We blew it.
We really shot ourselves in the foot there. Well, that's all right. We'll get Phil.
True. Hell yeah. Shout out to John Meinl as well. The other headline.
Go ahead.
The other headline that I had was the big Cam Newton fiasco. And if you don't know what happened with that, basically a video drops on social media that went crazy viral of a camper at a 7-on-7, I think it was a tournament or a camp or something. One of the players, some high school kid, was just calling out Cam Newton, calling him a free agent and that he's going to lose all his money. Like, just talking complete trash for no reason. Total disrespect in my opinion, especially because it was Cam Newton's camp. Like, he was hosting the whole thing. And I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
Dula, go ahead.
I think Cam handled it perfectly. Like, a lot of kids, I mean, I don't know how old the kid is, but it seems like the younger generation, I hate saying that, but the
old man.
Kids, yeah, the kids that are still in high school, I guess, are like, just like they feel like they're invincible, but then like he just says it to Cam Newton's face, and Cam just called him out. He's like, "Oh, so what did you do today?"
Yeah.
He's like, oh, "What did you help your team win?" Oh no, I thought he handled it perfectly. And then he blew up his spot and put it on his social media. The kid came out and apologized, by the way, but no one reached out to him from Cam or his team. That kid sucks.
I was like, when I saw that, I was like, kid, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, he was obviously doing it to like get people to like, hype me up. Like, oh, I'm going to go out Cam. Like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? Like, how dare you disrespect that dude? Like, he is hosting a camp that you're at, trying to help you get better at football, and you're coming at the dude's neck, the MVP, a guy who went to the Super Bowl. Get the fuck out. Like, go home. Like, don't ever play football again. I'm glad this blew up so people, and I know the kid apologized, like he's a kid, whatever. But like, social media is doing this shit to people. Like, it's everybody talking all this shit.
Would you have apologized if it didn't blow up?
No,
probably not.
No, absolutely not. And like, these kids, they see all this shit on social media of people talking crap and they're getting into stupid arguments because you can hide behind your phone and everything. And he just comes out and says this shit to Cam, and Cam, like, as you said, handled it like the best way that I think I don't know if any other athlete would have handled it the same way that he handled it. He was spectacular handling it. He addressed it again when they all huddled up. It was just embarrassing for that kid. Like, how dare you?
I don't even think he expected Cam to respond. And I think you kind of saw it in his eyes when you see the other point of view with when Cam goes back up to him and like, when Cam, so the thing that also got me was the fact that the media only reported the bad stuff, like him and Cam in the heat of the moment. And then afterwards, he posts the side of him, like, actually talking through things with him and being like respectful. And, you know, like that kind of pissed me off just because Cam Newton gets a really bad rap just because he's, in my opinion, a black athlete that does things in a different manner. Like, he's not conventionally the way he types on social media and the way he dresses and everything. He gets a lot of shit for that, and I don't get that. And then to go and show him in this light arguing with a kid for views and stuff and to make him kind of look bad, just was fucked up to me. But then he came out and posted his side and he handled it like really, really well, better than probably most guys would. And yeah, I just don't understand the disrespect. I really don't, especially when it's Cam's event. It's like a privilege not only to play a team sport like that, but then to go and have the opportunity to work with pros. Like, nobody gets that opportunity. Very small percent. And I don't understand that mentality. He came out and said in his apology, he talked about being competitive and his competitive spirit got the best of him or some shit. But that's just over the line.
Competitive at all?
No, it wasn't even. If it was during a game, that's different. Like, okay, that's a little bit different. Yeah, for no reason. Cam was walking by and he's like talking shit about his financial status and his like him being a free agent. Like, what? That's so stupid to me. I don't understand.
I think that kind of goes into like people just not treating athletes like other people. Like, you see people pay thousands of dollars at courtside. They're just like heckle basketball players. Like, Westbrook has been through a lot of that stuff. But he's the only one. He's like the one guy who talks back.
Yeah, him and LeBron sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, LeBron does too. There's that meme of Bradley Beal where the guy says that he sucks and he goes, "Oh, I suck."
All right, that really pissed me off. That whole thing. I just let's move on. Let's move on from that. Fuck that.
Before we get into the main segment, did you guys have any problems with the All-Star reserves?
Yes.
I know you
didn't.
No, I didn't either. I thought because so many could go so many different ways, and I know everyone was freaking out about Booker, and the him and Zion flop. Like people were saying, oh, Zion and Booker should have flipped or whatever. And then obviously we knew that Booker was going to get anyway because Davis is hurt. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. Bryce, your complaint is going to be Bam over Vucevic.
Yeah. Even Sabonis. I think Sabonis is having a better season.
Yeah. I just think Vooch has just been like, this has been his best career year. And I think the coaches, what it really came down to, I think for the coaches is like, when we play this team, like how fucking annoying is it to play against this guy? And that's exactly why I think Zion got in over like a Devin Booker, because game planning for Zion, like that fucking sucks. Like if I was a West coach, I'd be like, I don't want to have to do this. Like this guy's an all-star. And I think the same thing's true of Vooch. And just because of his offensive ability. And I'm not surprised he got in, but I think you could have swapped any of those three guys, Sabonis, Vooch, and Bam. I had Bam too, but I think it could have. Dula, I think you were the closest. I think you had the highest percentage correct selections of the group.
Yeah, what can I say?
I love that phrasing. Highest percentage correct selections.
Could be a stat. Could be a stat for you.
I think I did though, because I think my reserves were all in.
I think in the West you swept the West.
Yeah, but then I had Hayward as a wild card, but he obviously didn't make it. I don't know who had a wild card in the East.
Unreal that Dame's a reserve player, by the way.
Yeah, it was stupid. I didn't like that at all. And Luka knows it too. Like Luka's like, he should have started. But Luka,
he's starting to heat up now, though.
The fan vote is stupid.
Yeah, ridiculous. But yeah, I just
wanted 25%, not 50%.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I just wanted to address that before we got into these little mini theses. Okay.
Do we want to let Connor go last because he's just gonna talk for like an hour and a half? I feel.
No, I'll try to keep it short, but I'll go last. I'll go last.
You won't succeed.
I will. I'll be short.
I know you're not happy, especially after the past couple games. Yeah, especially.
Bryce, in the group chat I have with Dula and them, I kept just texting the entire. It was not good. I was not happy, and I'm not pleased. So one of you two can start, and then we'll do the thing. So you guys give your little spiel on your teams, and then the other two will comment on it.
You want me to go first?
All right, Bryce. Yeah, Bryce, you can go.
So, for those that don't know, I'm a Miami Heat fan. You probably know by now because I was just bitching about Bam not being an all-star. But anyway, so I knew this season was going to be a really slow start because our core of players they're all young guys aside from Jimmy at this point and Goran. So when you go and have a deep playoff run in the finals and then with the weird extended year, and then like a quick turnaround. It was like 2 months or something. It was the season started the 22nd, and then the finals ended the October 11th. So October 11th, December 22nd. That's around 2 months or so. Not even. That's a lot. That's a lot to like, especially going 6 games, almost going the distance. A bunch of young guys who really haven't played a lot of NBA full minutes, full games, a full season even. That's really tough, and I expected a lot of injury and kind of just like trying to get back into the flow of things. A bad record. It hurt, especially then with the COVID bug. At one point, we were missing Bam, Jimmy, Avery Bradley, Goran, Mo Harkless, Haslam, none, all at once. Brutal, really, really brutal. But at the same time, a lot of teams are getting hit by that. So it's an excuse, but also not really because a lot of the league's going through that. But so, from an evaluation standpoint, 2 additions that I really loved. One, I loved the signing. We haven't seen much of him on the team yet, but Avery Bradley, I think he's a really, really great defender, one of the better point guard defenders in the league. He can shoot a little bit, and it gives us another ball handler because a lot of the times it's either Jimmy or Bam or Goran/Nunn/Hero who kind of just bring the ball up whenever. But he's another guy that can bring it up, and we can get into different sets, and it just gives Spo more flexibility to put guys like Bam or Jimmy or the shooters elsewhere on the floor, get them different looks and get them open, like Duncan, Tyler, all that. I like that a lot, and it's a veteran guy who's going to be big in the playoffs as long as we make it. I also loved the addition of Precious because at the time of the draft, I didn't really know what he was going to bring, but now seeing him in the lineup, he's basically our backup Bam. He's not quite the level of Bam, obviously. He's not there. He's got a lot of developing to do. But with his hustle, his athleticism, he's a total Heat guy. That's what I have written down. He's literally just hustles his ass off. He gets a lot of effort scoring plays, a lot of effort rebounds. Reminds me of Bam. We can kind of run the offense through him a little bit. Not quite like Bam, but it's better than bringing Kelly O off the bench or Myers Leonard off the bench to fill in that athletic 5 role because they just don't move around and they're not as instinctive as these two guys. So bringing in Precious and Avery Bradley were really big, I think, in the long run. We haven't really seen it yet because the team hasn't really played a lot together yet. We're finally starting to get healthy, and that's one of my big pluses right now. And since we've all gotten healthy, first I want to touch on the fact that since Jimmy's come back, the team has gotten way, way better. Without him, it seems like the offense can be a huge mess at times, especially when we don't have Goran, because Goran's been hurt and has had COVID, I think, as well. So Jimmy, aside from Bam, is pretty much the life of this team and the life of the offense. He's definitely our outright leader, just like outspoken locker room guy. Besides Haslam, of course, but on the court, you need that presence to really succeed in the NBA, and he's that guy for us. He carries us in the biggest moments, and we saw that in the finals with those 2 really big games. So having him out is obviously a huge blow. But with that, Bam had an opportunity to showcase that he's growing as the scorer and a leader on the team. He's our team leader in all the major stats except for steals. So he's 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and a block. And you're starting to see him develop a little bit of a mid-range jump shot, which is lethal. He has some pretty dirty moves for a guy that last year was super, super hesitant to shoot. And if he keeps extending his range on top of his ball handling skills, that's really dangerous, especially for the position that he plays and his role in our offense. But like I said, the Heat are really hot right now that everybody's kind of starting to come together. Goran finally came back last night. So we have our core from the guys that were left over from last year's title run. So we have Goran and Bam and Jimmy and Kendrick Nunn's finally, it seems like he's finally recovered from COVID because when he came back in the playoffs last year, he wasn't all there. We just need to get Tyler here healthy, and the team is pretty much 100%. And now that we have all these guys, we've won 4 in a row, 7 of the last 10, and then we're getting the All-Star break real soon. So that's that's a really good thing. Right towards the home stretch of the season, we're getting healthy and playing really, really well. So overall, I think that a lot of people, like, with the start, they just look at the standings and they're like, oh, that title run was a fluke. And obviously they played really, 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 really extremely well in the bubble playoffs. And it was I can kind of see how people can think that, but at the same time, this is a really disciplined, really well coached, really hardworking, like, we're gonna kick your ass every time we're on the court. Like that's the culture that they have. That's always been like that, and they finally have the guys post Big 3 era to compete year to year. I really don't think that this team is a fluke, and if we can stay healthy and avoid the COVID stuff, I think this team is one of the better in the East, at least.
Dula, you got comments on the Heat?
I like Bryce's optimism. Good fan right there. No, but yeah, I actually think it won't happen. But Jimmy Butler should be in consideration for MVP because of the difference between the Heat when he's on the floor and when he's off the floor. Because when he was missing games, they just looked like it was a fluke. But when he's back and just playing his best basketball, yeah, he definitely looked like they're a playoff team again.
I forget who. So Miami, I have some comments and I have a question for you, Bryce.
Okay.
Bam. There was earlier in the season they were playing the Pelicans and I was just watching the game and it was a back and forth game and they were doing well. I think Miami blew it open towards the end of the game or whatever.
Oh, this was Christmas, yeah.
One possession, I forget, maybe it was Christmas. I think possession. Bam had the ball isolated on the block. He was guarded by Zion. He spun on the left block, spun off his left shoulder, and then did a right-handed hook shot in the lane. Made it. Blocked the shot on the other end. Came back, faced up on Zion, hit about a 15-foot jumper in his mouth. Next possession, J.J. Redick misses a three. Bam grabs the rebound, brings it up the floor, and then has like an insane bounce pass to Kendrick Nunn for a layup. That was 3 possessions in a row. I nearly fell out of my chair because I was like, oh, fucking shit. If he does this shit, I don't really know. The ceiling for him is like, I don't even know what it is. They're going to be fine just because the injuries and everything, the COVID bug hit them, and Bam kept them afloat while all those guys were out. So they're going to be fine now that they're healthy and everything. They'll be fine. My question to you is this. Tyler's been good. He's been fine. He's been good. Duncan's been fine. If you turn back the clock, do you do Duncan, Tyler, and 2 picks for Harden, the way Harden's playing right now? If you could go back and do it, you have Jimmy, Harden, and Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do it?
I mean,
at the time, I told you that I would throw Tyler Hero out the window if that meant I could get James Harden. And if you had James Harden, Jimmy, and Bam, that team has to be favored to win the East, right?
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough only because you're talking at the time. And at the time, Harden was like, we kind of touched on this. He was kind of half-assing things and didn't really look like the effort was there. But obviously, if you put him in a place, I don't know, there's just the idea, and it's kind of past now because I think he was just really that unhappy with Houston. There was the idea in everyone's head that he didn't want to work as hard as other people did, and he kind of just wanted to get the ball and score a lot. And at the time when me and you talked about this, I said no because Tyler has the ability, maybe not, Harden level to score the ball, but he can drop 30, 40 points on a hot night. And he has that mentality, and he has we have this team together right now that is just so close and tight-knit, and they all have the same work ethic. I kind of questioned Harden's work ethic, even to the standard of what the Heat have, with their crazy always working out, kicking, talking shit in practice. What I mean. Now though, seeing that when he's in a situation where he's comfortable and winning and doesn't even have to do the things that he's doing to win because Harden or Kyrie could just pick it up, it's tough. It's tough. I would probably lean more towards yes at this point, just because. Yeah, but giving up Duncan and Tyler, those are a lot of weapons. Plus the picks and assets and stuff that we keep using to supplement guys that leave, like Crowder, Derek Jones, or something. It's tough. It's always tough when you involve all those picks.
True. All right, that's good. That's Miami Heat. I think they're going to be good. They'll be in the playoffs, obviously. There was never a doubt once they got healthy. And now we'll move on to the Brooklyn Nets because they are they are really playing well right now. Dula, Nets
terrifying.
Fan, you've been through a roller coaster with this team over the last decade. How are you feeling at this point?
Last 2 decades.
Last 2 decades.
Getting to the finals twice and losing twice, winning 1 game total in 2 finals trips in the early 2000s. That was fun. Nets are winning the East. I'll say right now, I think a lot of people are saying that. The Nets are winning the East. And Nick Claxton just played his first game. He only played 14 minutes 2 nights ago, but they're easing him back in. He came back from injury. And he's going to thrive in an offense with James Harden. He's also, I was very surprised with his defense. He picked up De'Aaron Fox at half court and was able to stick with him and contest his shot. So I didn't think he'd be able to do that, but he's very athletic and very long. So his defense is going to be great too. So yeah, well, I want to start off by saying I hated every single offseason or midseason move the Nets have made for the past 3 years. I hated the Kyrie signing. I love the Kevin Durant signing. You're not going to not love that signing, but I hated the Kyrie signing. I feel like they should have kept D'Angelo Russell. I hated that they got rid of D'Angelo Russell, and just him and Kevin Durant together would have been fine. And he led the Nets to a playoff run when they shouldn't even have been in the playoffs. So loyalty wasn't there. I'm still loyal to D'Angelo Russell. So he hasn't been as good as he was in Brooklyn, but I didn't miss a single game when he was playing in Brooklyn. But and then I hated the Harden trade. I thought it was terrible. I've come to terms with Caris LeVert leaving because that trade saved his life. So personally, I still wish he was on the Nets. But as a person, I'm glad he got traded. But I'm pissed that Jared Allen isn't on the team anymore. Because if you had Jared Allen and Nick Claxton and not DeAndre Jordan in that rotation, you got two guys who can play defense, two guys who can catch lobs. Well, I guess DeAndre Jordan can catch lobs. But that's all he can do. He's washed. He shouldn't be getting starter minutes anymore. I hope Claxton and DJ split time eventually. But yeah, James Harden has been. I was kind of weary about James Harden coming to the Nets because just the way he was dogging it this season. I was like, I don't know, but he's the best facilitator on the team. Which who would ever thought that? And he's trying to play defense. I'm not going to say he is playing defense, but he's trying to play defense, which I haven't seen from him in years, since possibly Oklahoma City. So that's a good sign. And also the that trio, Durant, Harden, Irving. I don't think they haven't even played 10 games together yet. So Durant's still out with a hamstring injury. So he'll probably be out through the All-Star break and then come back after that. So that, just like Bryce was saying with the Heat, they're going to be healthy at the right time. My one concern is their bench. They need someone to fill that Caris LeVert role, that 6-man role. Bruce Brown just came off a 29-point game, but who knows how often that's going to happen. He just got hot and could have missed one game. They're trying to make TLC that guy, but he's not nearly as talented as LeVert was. So hopefully they can figure out that rotation, because if you're playing Harden, Durant, and Irving 40, 45 minutes a game in the playoffs, they're going to get burnt out and bounce in the conference finals. But I feel like they'll figure it out and win the East.
We love when they drafted Claxton. I don't think there was any doubt. We all love that pick. That was an awesome pick when they draft Claxton. Also, they really didn't have to give up Jared Allen, because all Cleveland gave up was a second-round pick, and they just got Jared Allen. So Jared Allen didn't have to be in that deal. That deal doesn't make any sense to me. They have beaten the Lakers, the Clippers, the Jazz. No, the Jazz. They beat the Jazz. They beat like a handful of excellent teams without Kevin Durant, and James Harden has been. He is one of the. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. He is one of the 3-4 best offensive players to ever play the game, and he is at another level right now. And he is just, his passing. We know his passing, although he's more of a score-first guard. His passing has always been exquisite. He's always been a sensational passer. But he is like, when Durant's in the lineup, he's only taking 9 shots, 10 shots a game, and they're 5 for 9, 6 for 9. He has accepted. Kyrie is. I will give Kyrie credit. I fucking hate Kyrie with everything in my soul. But he has accepted the off-ball role, and he's like 50, 40, 90 on exceptional shooting. Like, Kyrie's been fucking incredible. They are so potent offensively. We knew that they were arguably, like, had the potential to be one of the best offensive teams of all time. And if the season ended right now, they would be the best offensive team of all time. And Jeff Green is usually, like, playing roulette. You never know what the fuck you're going to get with that guy. But he's been cleaning up he cleans up everything. He's been sensational. DeAndre Jordan, watching that guy is really something. It is like, it's really unprecedented. It's really unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it before on defense. I've never seen anything like DeAndre Jordan at this point in his career on defense.
You should clarify that you mean it's terrible.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
unprecedented in a bad way. It's really fun to watch. It's fun to watch because you're like, wow, how is someone this bad who is that size? It's really unbelievable. He's like dazed. It's like he's on drugs when he's playing defense. They've picked up the defense recently, by the way. They try. They might not be good defensively, but they really try. Like Dula was talking about Harden battling on defense. They're all really trying hard on defense. It's just that it's not as good. But at this point, when this trade first happened, I still thought that they were going to go to the finals. And I think that now more than I did then. But just because they're going to score so many points, and right now they're playing enough defense to win these games by 10, 15, even 5, something like it depends. But they are just terrifying. And when Durant's not even playing, they look like the best team in the league. And Durant's not even playing. And Durant is their best player. So it's terrifying what's happening. I think they're going to win the East. I've always thought they were going to win the East, even before the trade, even after the trade. And they just look unstoppable offensively right now. It is a gauntlet.
I have a question. Dula, do you think having a rookie head coach who hasn't really been, like, he doesn't have any coaching experience in the NBA aside from what he's getting right now, come playoff time, does that scare you, especially with all the like highly experienced coaches in the East? You got Spo, you got Brad Stevens, you got Doc Rivers now. There's a lot of really like veteran coaches out there in the East that have way more time as a coach, and you know, does that scare you at all, despite how potent they are offensively?
Good question.
That's a good question. And let me just say, one of the reasons I despise Kyrie Irving is that he ran Kenny Atkinson out of Brooklyn. When Kenny Atkinson would be perfect for this team. A guard heavy, well, not really guard heavy, but you got Kyrie and Harden, two of the best guards, if not, I would say two of the best. Harden's probably up there as top 3. I don't know where I put Kyrie. Just my personal feelings towards him would put me in the bottom 30, but he's not there. But yeah, he ran Kenny Atkinson out of Brooklyn. If they had Kenny Atkinson, they'd be fine. But Steve Nash kind of seems like a pushover who Kyrie is just like, yeah, we don't have a coach. And he's like, yeah, I guess we don't have a coach. So I'm just going to sit on the sidelines, let them do their thing. So yeah, that definitely scares me because he could definitely get outsmarted by guys like Doc and Spo and Budenholzer.
Bud too,
maybe
yeah.
Brad Stevens. I don't know. I don't know if I put him in there this year. But yeah, no, that's a great question. Yeah, it definitely does scare me having Steve Nash as the head coach. But I think the talent is really scary. So, and them not giving up 125 points a game anymore is a very good thing.
That's a good thing.
I also am like, and that is a good question because when you watch them offensively, they're not really running a whole lot of stuff. Like if you watch Philly and Milwaukee, like they're running stuff. Like they're running different sets. Like Milwaukee runs like 5 different sets at a time. Like Boston runs a bunch of sets, and all these teams run different sets. The Nets really are they're really just running down screens for Kyrie off the ball. They're really just running pick and rolls for Harden. And that's really all they're doing. It's really just a down screen horn set and a bunch of just pick and roll game. They're not really running anything. And I guess that's because they don't really have to because they're just so talented. But like, I don't know if you game plan for that, let's say, and let's just say Harden's not shooting well or Kyrie's not shooting or whatever, that could be a problem if Nash isn't experienced enough to like make those in-game adjustments. So it is like, I agree with you. Like it's a little concerning just because you have so many good coaches in the East and it's like, what's going to happen? But talent, I just think talent is going to prevail. And Durant has looked like all of Durant pretty much. And they're really fucking good. The shot making is just out of control. Like Jeff Green, I don't think I've seen him miss a corner 3 this year. Bruce Brown's been awesome, especially defensively. They just make shot. Kyrie has just been that dude. He really is, and I know, like, look, I fucking hate Kyrie. I mean, I know we all fucking hate Kyrie because he's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. But he is like, his skill level is just like on another level this year. He just looks so fucking good. I hate watching him do well because I don't hate watching him do well. I just hate watching him because he's so fucking good. But the Nets are scary, and I'm terrified if the Celtics end up playing them. But yeah, so the Nets are awesome.
One guy we didn't mention is Joe Harris. I just want to throw his name
Oh
out there.
fuck!
He's the best.
Oh my god!
Best 3-point shooter in Nets history.
Oh my
possibly.
god!
Also one
Oh
of the
my
best
god!
3-point shooters of all time, and just
How the
the
fuck
way
did I
he's able
forget
to,
about that?
yeah, the way
How
he's
did I
able to
forget about
space the
Joe
floor
Harris?
for them to run the offense is just incredible. So Joe Harris is definitely a huge part of that team.
The Joe Harris shot making is out of fucking control. It's out of
it's insane.
There are like Curry is one of those guys. Clay was always one of those guys. For me, those were the two guys where every time they shoot it, I'm like, that's going in. Like, and Duncan Robinson has worked his way into that as well. Like when they take shots, I'm like, that shot's going in. Like it's not missing. Joe Harris is now in that group. He is in that group for me of those three guys where it's like every time he shoots the ball, it's going in. And you know how many open shots he's getting? His ball fake is lethal. When guys are sprinting across the court to close out on him, ball fake, he goes right by him, and then he just shoots a three. He doesn't miss. And if they keep having that, they're literally gonna beat everyone by 20 when Durant comes back. So, forgot about Joe Harris. He's been fucking incredible. All right.
And now it's time.
Okay, so the Celtics.
All right.
It's time for the Celtics. Okay.
Set your time.
I must admit, I've been watching a lot of Knicks this year, and I've probably watched more or just as much of the Knicks as I've watched the Celtics. The Celtics, they're 15-17. They're tied with Miami for the 8, but Miami's got the advantage over them for the 8 seed. So they'd be in the play-in tournament if it ended today. There are 4 guys who I am pleased with on the roster. There are 4 guys: Tatum and Brown, Bob Williams, and Aaron Neesmith. Aaron Neesmith, this guy who they drafted 14th, who sucked in the beginning of the year, was like, oh my God, they drafted him. And you have Pritchard, who's playing all the time and playing really well. This dude, Neesmith, I know he's like, nobody really knows a lot about him. That dude he's diving into the stands. He's jumping and his head's hitting the backboard because he's trying to block shots all the time. The dude hustles his ass off. He's actually made his way into the crunch time 5. Tatum and Brown have to do fucking everything. And I'm sick and tired of watching on these offensive possessions. I'm tired of watching Kemba getting screens at the top of the fucking arc, and he's coming off these screens and he's taking his typical Kemba shot where he dribbles into a 3, takes it, and then he jumps over the line. And he's been doing that since his days at UConn. And he's 3 for 13 on them every single night. And I'm fucking tired of it. He can't play defense. And I love Kemba Walker. I love Kemba Walker. But do you think that it hurts my fucking soul watching Kyrie put up 50, 40, 90 this year and watching Kemba Walker shoot 3 for 13 from the field with 0 defense on the year? No, it's fucking atrocious. Kemba Walker has been so bad. He's been so bad. And it's not that he's bad. He doesn't look healthy. This knee thing with him, everybody's like, oh my God, Danny Ainge is trying to trade Kemba Walker, because he's unhealthy. He's been awful. He's been fucking horrible. Kemba's been horrible, and I love Kemba. He's like one of my favorite dudes in the whole league. Kemba's been fucking horrible.
Keeps going back to that. He's like, and I love him though. He's great.
I am Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge. He fleeced the Nets in that deal, and everything he's done after that has been absolute shit. Okay, he drafted Tatum and Brown. He's an excellent drafter. That's fine. And he drafted Romeo Langford, who has yet to see the court with his fucking injuries. I want to see this guy play, but he keeps hurting his thumb, and he keeps getting surgeries all on his fucking hand, and he hasn't played. The dude can play defense. I want to see him on the floor. Peyton Pritchard, I enjoy. I enjoy Peyton Pritchard. But Tom just got back. Hello, Tom.
What's up?
So Tom, Peyton Pritchard, I very much enjoy. Peyton Pritchard, they run this little action, not to digress here, but they run this little action where Peyton Pritchard gets a screen from Bob Williams at the top of the key, and then he gets in the paint, and then he gets a second screen from Bob Williams and does this in and out dribble and gets a layup every time. He's exceptional at that. That's like stuff that Goran does. Anyway, I digress. They have 2 losses to the Nets. They have 3 losses to Philly. They lost to Washington. They've blown out by the Knicks. They've lost to the Pistons twice. They've lost to the Hawks twice. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable in this. And look, Marcus Smart has been out. I understand this. Marcus Smart coming back is not going to fix these fucking problems they have. Defensively, they are second in the entire league on defense in field goals allowed. So they're second in the league in allowing field goals, meaning that they're not allowing a lot of field goals. They're second, they're ranked second, meaning they allow. I've worded that weird. I apologize. They're second in field goals allowed. So that means, like, in defensive rating, they are allowing the second least amount of field goals. So you're thinking, oh, why do they suck then? Here's why they suck. because they bring the ball up. Daniel Tice, I'm about to throw him into a fucking garbage disposal because Daniel Tice sets a screen for Tatum. And they're half-ass screens. And Tatum's coming off the screen. He's like flopping all over the place because these guys are hedging these screens because the screens are dog shit. Tristan Thompson's out of breath after 2 seconds running down the floor. Daniel Tice, Tatum gets doubled because why wouldn't you double Jason Tatum? He throws this bounce pass to Tice, and Tice bricks the three every fucking time. I haven't seen Tice hit an open three since the Vietnam War. Second thing, Daniel Tice has been fucking atrocious. Tristan Thompson, which I thought they got for a good deal at $9 million or whatever they got him for. It was a good deal. I appreciate Danny getting Tristan Thompson for whatever they got him for. He has been so fucking awful. They guarded him against they have him typically guard the best power forward on the other team, and it just doesn't work. Brown's been the best player on the team all year. I have no complaints with Jaylen Brown. I have no complaints with Jason Tatum. They've been awesome. Bob Williams is coming around. He's actually playing very well. He's getting smarter, and he's making better decisions. I'm putting Brad Stevens in the hot seat. And I'm putting Brad Stevens in the hot seat because he is still one of the, if not the best X's and O's coach in the entire league. Brad Stevens out of the timeout, even in close games recently, like in the past 2 games against New Orleans, past 2 games against, and then against Dallas, he drew up these plays to get buckets down towards the end of the game. I was like, these are fucking, they scored easily. Like he is just an elite out of bounds coach. But you have this final play of the Pelicans game where the most common play at the end of the game is a fake dribble handoff with your best player. Teams have been running that play since Bill Russell was in the league. And you have Zion, he's going to hand it off to Lonzo Ball with 8 seconds on the clock. Get the fuck out. No, he's not handing out to Lonzo Ball. Fake dribble handoff. And Tristan Thompson's just like, I can't guard this guy. And just let Zion go to the basket for it. I'm like, Brad, you had to have known that was coming. Like, what the fuck? It's like Brad can't motivate these guys. He's an excellent X and O's guy, but he can't motivate these guys. It's terrifying me. And look, maybe I'm overreacting because I looked at the stats today, and I'm like, they're top 10 in every defensive category, and they're middle of the pack in defensive rating, which I expect with guys like Smart out and Langford out and whatever. But they can't score. The guys they have coming off the bench trying to score just are awful. It's Tatum and Brown having to create shots, and teams are just sending double teams at them, making them take tough shots. I'm shocked that Tatum and Brown are shooting at the shooting splits that they're shooting at. Like, what the fuck is going on? And they were first in the East like 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. And then they've been losing twice to Atlanta, twice to Detroit. Like, what the fuck? They're going to figure it out. Okay? They're going to figure it out. But they've lost to Philly 3 times. Embiid's playing MVP. They can't guard him. They're going to lose to Philly if they play them in the playoffs. They're going to lose to Brooklyn if they play him in the playoffs. Milwaukee doesn't look like Milwaukee, so I don't know which Milwaukee I'm going to get. I don't know which Giannis I'm going to get in the playoffs. And who knows what the hell's going on with Miami. And Indiana is like prototypically right now looking like what Miami looked like last year. So it's like, where do the Celtics fit in? Danny Ainge has basically said, yeah, this is on me. No shit, dipshit. You made this fucking roster that can't score. And I like the guys on the roster. But when you lack big men, when you lack...
I was just trying to keep doing that.
When you lack depth at the big man spot and you lack wing depth for Tatum and Brown, it's like, what the fuck are you going to do? Danny is going to make a move at the deadline, and he better fucking dazzle me with what he's doing at the deadline, because I'm tired of Danny's shit, and I'm tired of us all blowing Danny Ainge for fleecing the Nets a decade ago. That's over. It's fucking done. The window is now. The Celtics have this year to win the finals. This is their win. Like, last year and this year were their times to win the finals. They're with Durant and those 3 in Brooklyn and Philly playing as well as they're playing. I don't know. That window is closing. Tatum and Brown are going to fucking leave if they don't figure out these fucking problems. So the Celtics are really pissing me off. But then they beat the Clippers, the Bucks, the Nuggets. That's about it. That's about all the teams they and I watch them play the Clippers, and I'm like, what the fuck? They're beating the Clippers. Like, what the fuck? They beat Milwaukee. What the fuck's going on? I'm really angry, and I've never been this angry at one of my teams before in this way that I'm angry now. I'm just furious with what's going on, because I think they're too talented. They're too good to be losing these games against the fucking Detroit Pistons. So that is my rant. That's all I got.
What's a move at the deadline that they can make that would instantly make them better? Aside from like a big name. Nobody comes to mind?
I don't know. My impulsive side says just like throw everything for Bradley Beal, and Bradley Beal and Tatum are really close and they grew up together or whatever. So I think it would be an attractive thing for Beal. And their offense, it's their offense. Like defensively, they're fine, but it's their offense. And they can get a guy like Beal as a third guy. It also, I'm going to give Kemba some more time to figure it out. Because I know he's been hurt and his knee's been like really brutal. But when Kemba scores 25 points a game, they win. When he shoots 3 for 13, they lose by 15 to Atlanta. Like Tatum and Brown have to score like 50 points a night in order for them to win games. And it's like there comes a point where you have to make moves for wing depth. I think wing depth is more important than getting a big guy. Because although Tice has been really pissing me off and Tristan Thompson looks like he's ready for a wheelchair, it just looks like they're going to be fine. I like the emergence of Bob Williams and I don't know, or like what if they threw everything they had at Vooch? Like, and Orlando was like, yeah, he doesn't want to be here anyway. He's going to leave. Why not give him Vooch? I think Vooch is a realistic one. A guy who I think they should get, Thaddeus Young with Chicago would be a good fit for them. But I don't know what they're going to do at the deadline.
Did you see the Zach LaVine's like media thing with Thad Young though?
Yes.
Thad Young said they got to get to the playoffs, so
yes.
I don't know if Thad Young's going to want to go. I mean, it's not up to him.
Yeah.
But...
And you know who's ahead of them in the standings right now? Chicago and Charlotte. Yeah. Charlotte, fine. Chicago's they're playing very well. But Chicago, you're letting Chicago like what the fuck? Like Chicago, who like has one guy who plays defense and are just a team of young guys, and you can't figure out how to fucking have a better record than Chicago Bulls. Like what the fuck? Like it's embarrassing. Watching Hayward and Rozier play at the high level that they're playing at pisses me the fuck off. Because if the Celtics had Hayward, if they didn't let Hayward walk, they'd still be at the top of the East because Hayward's playing out of his mind. So it's like, oh my God, they need a third scorer, and Hayward walked, which, look, it's fine. At the time, like Hayward, like whatever, they had to get rid of him, whatever. And Rozier's playing at such a high level. It's so frustrating because they need that third guy, and it's Kemba. But Kemba just, he keeps hitting the side of the rim. He's not even close. It's not even close. So if he picks it up, I keep forgetting, Marcus Smart is going to come back. He's a big part of the team. We'll see. But if Marcus Smart comes back, I don't think they can wait that long. Wait for him to come back before making a move because they got to do something.
Give you DeAndre Jordan for Tristan Thompson straight up.
If the Celtics acquired DeAndre Jordan, I would. I really, I might like switch. I might not be a Celtics fan anymore. Of all the years, I might switch. I might have to because that. I'm trying to think of moves that would piss me off that they would make at the deadline, and I don't know. But if you were Danny Ainge, would you throw the kitchen sink at Nikola Vucevic at the deadline? If
I'd make a move for sure.
Bob Williams, Romeo Langford, Pritchard, Neesmith, and a couple picks.
Yeah, because right now they're not competing with Brooklyn or Philly.
I'd do it. Might as well.
You
need a guy to bump bodies with Embiid. You need a guy to bump bodies with Giannis. You need a guy to bump bodies with Bam. And Vooch is fine. He's not a good defensive player. He's fine. He's just mediocre. But his scoring, obviously would help them, and it would take the fucking boatload off Tatum and Brown. So Tatum and Brown, I just feel so bad for those guys because they're not even officially in their primes yet, and they're playing out of their minds right now, and it's just so unfortunate because they have made the conference finals almost every year. Brown's been in the conference finals 3 times. Tatum's been in the conference finals twice. So it's these guys are winners. They could win. We've shown that they can be 2 of the best players on winning teams that could go to the finals. And now
the conference finals.
Yeah, and they can't fucking get over the hump. And now that window's closed because Philly and Brooklyn are out of their minds good. So it's unfortunate. All right, let's get off this topic because I'm gonna fucking throw something.
That's everything I thought it would be.
All right, football. NFL free agency is coming up. This is a great time of the year. NFL free agency, March Madness. It's a great time. It's going to be a great time of year. March is my favorite month.
Pretty
so
close to opening day for baseball too.
And opening day for what day is that? Do you know? If
April 1st.
April 1st.
I think so.
That's just the best. This is the best time of the year. This has always been my favorite time of the year. Start of baseball, March Madness, all this shit. It's sensational. Sensational. Anyway, I digress. All right. We have 3 free agents that we think are going to make a good amount of impact or the most impact. And we're going to say a little bit, maybe we'll disagree on some free agents and Dula has where they're going to go. Bryce, do you want to go first?
So how do you want to do this? You want to start at the bottom and just give our 3s, give our 2s, and then give our 1s one by one?
Let's do this. You say one of yours, and if I have it and Dula has it, we'll just address that we have that guy, and then we can do a little bit on that guy.
Okay. So I'll just start with my.
We might have at least one.
I mean, yeah, probably. I want to start off with a disclaimer. Obviously, my number 1 clear cut would be Dak Prescott because just quarterback, most important position in football. But he's going to stay in Dallas, so I didn't include him because from what I understand, they're getting very close on a long-term deal. If not, they'll tag him. So.
And he wants to be there too.
Yeah, and they'd be fucking stupid to let him walk. They're not going to get anybody better right now, and their window is right now. If for their division, because they're the best team in that division, maybe outside of Washington. But I want to start with my number 3, and this is going to be this was really tough to pick 3 because I think this free agency class is filled with guys that don't usually get to test the open market. They're usually cornerstone guys that are with the same team or get traded or something. But my number 3 is JJ Watt. I think he's a very quality edge defender. He's not the elite, absolute dominating guy every single down like he used to be. He has to, if you watch anything with him in Houston last year, he's taking reps off. They're trying to preserve because of all the injury stuff. And since 2015, he's had 3 out of his 5 seasons, he's missed 8 or more games. And that's a concern, especially getting towards the end of his career. Obviously still really productive. He was really good with pressuring the quarterback, as he usually is with 5 sacks, 17 quarterback hits, lots of pressures. He even had an interception and some 7 passes defended, and he gets the average 52 tackles for a defensive lineman. Pretty solid stuff. And I think he can make any defensive line instantly better, but he's not a premier pass rush guy anymore. He's not a premier run stopper anymore. He's not in the Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, that sort of level anymore. We've seen a bit of a drop off, and with injuries, I don't think that makes him the most valuable or the most influential, whatever we're calling it. But obviously, he's a really big name, and like I said, he's going to make any defensive line, even some defenses, instantly better. They could take him from average to above average to a top defense in the league. It depends on where he goes. But I think he's one that has a lot of value. So I read today that some team offered him 15 to 16 million. That's a little pricey for me, but at the same time, it depends on who the team is, and that team hasn't been named. I think if he goes to a Pittsburgh or an Indy, those are 2 really, really strong defenses as is. You throw him in there, he doesn't have to be an every down guy. He can come in and just make big plays. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
I heard today it was down to 3 teams.
I don't.
It's the Bills, the Packers, and someone else. And
is it the Steelers?
The Browns?
No, the Browns are out.
Browns, which I was shocked about. Hold on, Dula, say what you were going to say. I'll look into this.
What was I going to say?
Oh, if you were going to say,
I was just saying if it was the Browns.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, you go ahead, Connor.
Hold on a second. I saw this today on Twitter. Somebody reported that JJ Watt, it was definitely the Packers and definitely the Bills, but there was one more team that was in the hunt, and I can't remember. Was it Seattle? I can't remember. No, maybe it wasn't Seattle.
I thought it was. Is it not Pittsburgh? I thought it was Pittsburgh.
Titans. So it's the Titans, the Bills, and the Packers. Those are the 3 teams.
He's not going to the Titans though.
At this point.
And the
No.
thing is,
I
those
don't think he'd
teams
be on
have
it.
cap issues. Like, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't think you go to the Titans because that's in the same division. I mean, like, maybe, but
Why would you
I don't
pick the
think you'd
lesser
do-
of
I
the
mean,
two
that's
defenses? Come on, JJ.
true. Yeah, I mean, if he goes to the Bills, I mean, they're a contender. They
Mm-hmm.
might be in the Super Bowl next year. So if he wants to go to a team that can win quickly, then yeah, go to the Bills. I still think the Steelers have some issues on offense, so that would be a tough one.
And they're $9
then
mil under
Titans,
right
that's-
now too.
Yeah, and then the Titans with the being in the AFC South. I don't know if he'd want to go there and play Houston twice a year, or maybe he would. Maybe he would want to play them and show them up. So.
I think he absolutely would.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the most logical place to go is the Bills.
Yeah, of those three teams for sure. Especially because I don't if I'm him and if you like read into anything about what JJ Watt's about, the dude just wants to fucking win. He's literally sacrificed his body his whole career. He wants to win. He doesn't want money at this point. He's made his money. He wants a ring and he deserves it because even though he's been a Texan and I'm a Colts fan, that dude I have so much respect for him. Yeah, a little bit. Like usually, you hate the rival players. Like if you're if you're a Giants fan, right? You hate Ezekiel Elliott. You just hate him because he's just the way he is. He's really good, and Zeke's also kind of he is what he is. But JJ Watt is so frustrating as a Colts fan because I saw him sandwich Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning quite a few times, and it's just really tough to watch. But you can't not hate that guy because he's amazing. He's an amazing human being, and he's a really good fucking football player. But I really see him ring chasing this year.
So where do what's your crystal ball looking like?
I didn't see those front runners, but if he's gonna pick out of those three,
Apparently it's like finalized. It's those three teams. It's the Titans, the Bills, and the Packers.
if that's the case, I'm pretty sure the Packers and the Titans don't have the cap for him. I think the Bills have enough money because they haven't had to. Have they paid Josh Allen yet? I don't think so. But they paid Diggs. I think they extended Diggs. And outside of that, they're not really.
They did do that.
They're not paying anybody else. So like they're at that window where they have the young quarterback on a rookie contract, lots of young defensive guys. They can add a guy like JJ Watt and pay him. I would say he's probably going to get like 10 to 12 million. I think the 15 to 16 was a high offer because because the salary cap lowered this year, and the owners are trying to bump it back up again if they offer him stuff like that. So I think he's going to get like a 10 to 12 million dollar deal with. I think Buffalo is the best fit out of those three. Makes the most sense cap wise and team wise.
Dula, was he one of your three?
No, he wasn't actually.
He was also not one of my three. The only reason I didn't pick him is because he's on the wrong side of 32, whatever he is, all the injuries and shit. And I was just like, I don't know how much longer this dude has. And I went with three guys who I just thought were a little bigger. But the Watt thing is obviously.
I just went with the guys that I think are most interesting. I mean, JJ Watt is an interesting free agent, but my one you guys are gonna possibly laugh at me for. But
okay, Dula, go ahead. Give us your one.
All right. I'll give you that one. So it's my number 3 free agent is Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
That is a
Let's go.
I think it's a very interesting free agent because if you have so many quarterbacks on the move this year, not all of them are going to have replacements right away. And what's very underrated is Fitzpatrick's ability to learn an offense very quickly with how many teams he's been on. And I honestly think he might end up on the Patriots this year as a gap quarterback, and they draft. Hopefully, they draft the quarterback, but I think he'll end up on the Patriots this year, and definitely throw more touchdowns than Cam Newton did, probably in half the games. But
that'd be kind of nasty.
I just think it's really interesting because there's going to be a lot of teams who need a gap quarterback for a year or 6-7 games, and having a veteran like him who can learn offenses really quickly would definitely be beneficial to any team that needs one.
See, I just don't see him leaving, especially because of the doubt with Tua. I don't know what you guys feel about Tua, but from what I saw last year, I'm not even sure if he can play and compete as an NFL starter from week to week. Like, I didn't see it coming out of college. Like, obviously he was big and explosive, but name one Alabama quarterback that's come out of that school and then really, really succeeded on the next level. It just it never translates. That offense is not meant to produce quarterbacks, and just he's mobile. The hip injury thing, there's a lot to it, but he just looks scared to throw the ball down the field. And and when Fitzpatrick came in, that team was a playoff. It was potentially a playoff team. And I just don't see any reason why they let him go. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, bring the guy back. Let him fucking compete. That's what I would. That's what I would do.
Shit out of me. Tua scares the shit out of me.
He was untouchable to me in the draft. I didn't want. I would never have touched him.
Oh, yeah, me either. Not, especially after that injury. I mean, I wasn't high on him before then, but then after his injury, I didn't even think about it. But I mean, if somehow Deshaun Watson ends up in Miami, then yeah, Fitzpatrick's
right.
I like that.
Fitzpatrick actually go to Houston.
Yeah, bring him back to Houston.
If Watson ends up not going to Miami, but if he goes somewhere and then Houston needs a gap quarterback, and then he might go back to Houston.
Speaking of the Watson thing, real quick, did you guys hear what came out today about the Watson thing?
Which one? Which piece?
He said that he met with the new head coach, and he told the new head coach to his face, like, I'm not playing. I'm not playing for you. Like, I want out. I'm still done.
And a quick note on that: at this point, Houston just looks so stupid to other owners.
They're not going to trade him, but like.
No,
the guy said he's not playing for you. Like, you have to trade him. Like,
yeah, and every moment that they don't trade him, his value decreases because the owners are like, "Dude, he's not going to play for you. You gotta settle. You gotta settle for something."
Yeah, I was just gonna say that if they traded him as soon, like the week he said, "Yeah, I don't want to be here anymore," and they traded him that week, they could have gotten 2-3 first-round picks for him.
Now it's like maybe one.
But now, maybe one and a third and a conditional fifth.
Yeah. Something similar to Wentz. But
if we're on the Deshaun Watson thing, I was scrolling through like just social media the other day. I saw quarterback rankings, and Deshaun Watson was ranked 7th. Can I just let me just say something real quick? Okay. Deshaun Watson is the most pressured fucking quarterback in the entire league, gets hit more than any quarterback in the entire league, and he puts up top 5 numbers. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Besides Russ.
You put that guy with a good offensive line, Get the fuck out. This Deshaun Watson slander and all this stuff has got to stop. The dude's fucking elite.
Yeah. I don't want to go off tangent.
Who's he throwing to this year?
Yeah. Not even Will Fuller anymore. He's going to be gone too.
No, yeah. Will Fuller got suspended. Yeah, he's free agent too, so he's going to be gone.
Yep. Houston is a mess. Move on.
Yeah, they are. The Bill O'Brien domino effect. Okay.
I love it.
So, okay, you guys had exciting ones. I mean, mine's like exciting for the team who gets this guy, but all right, so my number 3 is Trent Williams.
Oh, yeah, I have him too. He's actually my number 1.
So San Francisco, he is like the top priority or one of the 2 top priorities for San Francisco to re-sign him. I've heard that people are offering him, although he's like in his 30s, people are offering him upwards of 18 to 19. Some teams are looking into him. One team that has a lot of cap room that would use him exceptionally, and I'm torn between 2 teams where he will go. One team that's just on the outside is the Jags. Jags don't make any sense for him. He's not going to win, but they have the cap to pay him. They have the most cap in the league, and they'll throw a bunch of money at him. I don't know if he wants to go there. He probably wants to win at this point. The 2 teams that I have him going through, or potentially going to, 1, Indianapolis. Bryce, your Colts have the cap,
I know.
and they need a left tackle. If he goes there and protects Carson even more than the line they already have, that's just the perfect fit for their team, and that takes them up even higher than the level they're already looking to be this year already. My other team is Los Angeles, the Chargers. Because the Chargers need another guy to protect Herbert. They're really looking to get this thing going with Herbert, and they also have, I think they have I wrote this down. They have top 6 in cap or something. I wrote it down. I can't find it. But they also have enough cap to sign him. So if I had to narrow it down to 2 teams for Trent Williams, who's still, I mean, look, he's been the second highest graded left tackle since 2011. And the dude, like, this year and for the past 3 years, he's allowed the least amount of pressure rate in the whole league. So he is like elite. He's still elite. He had an awesome year this year. And if he can go to either of those teams, Indianapolis, which would project them even farther than they're already projected, and the Chargers, I lean Indianapolis just because they have the cap to sign him, and it makes the most sense. So if I had to pick one, I'll go Trent Williams to Indianapolis.
Yeah, and so I also had him, but I had him as my one, and this is why. Because
he's going to the Colts?
No. Well, it's possible, but that's not why. But because offensive
Williams.
he's very good, and they should not let him walk. But left tackle is really, really hard to fill. Like, that's a really hard position to find, a cornerstone guy. And Trent Williams is literally the best left tackle in the league right now. Highest graded offensive tackle of all of last year. Doesn't matter that he's 33. He hasn't shown any signs of regression. He's played his highest snap percentage since 2015 this year, and that's because he played on a shit show organization with Washington. They're still trying to sort that shit out. Finally comes to a good team, produces at an elite level, and there's no reason why, aside from a quarterback, to me it goes quarterback, corner, and then tackle. Those are the three like big positions that you got to fill, and you get the best in his position at a top 3 position, playing at a high level despite how far into his career he is. Like, that's a clear cut number 1 to me, outside of Dak. And like you said, he could very well go to Indianapolis because they have the cap, they have that hole at left tackle that they need to fill. It makes a lot of sense. I would be fucking more than thrilled to get Trent Williams in Indy. But he's instantly going to make any offensive line better. You get that solidified left tackle spot. The Chargers one is a little, it's a fit, but are they ready to compete right now in that division with Mahomes? And they just didn't, they showed flashes. Herbert's obviously going to be a very good NFL quarterback from what we saw last year. But I don't know if they're even as good as the Raiders at this point. So I don't know if they're going to go out and spend money on a 33-year-old tackle when they're not quite ready to go. So I have Indianapolis, and I also have a team. I also like him on the other LA team, the Rams, because now with Stafford, you really got to make sure that he is upright, because when he's upright, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I call him all the time. He's the most underrated quarterback in the league. And
12-1, the Rams are to win the Super Bowl. That is fucking ridiculous.
It's crazy.
All in on the Rams. I will say it again. Give me the Rams.
Yeah.
I'd go ahead and say Matt Stafford is the most underrated quarterback of all time.
Yeah, he's so underappreciated. The dude's a baller, and he plays through more injury than I've ever seen any quarterback play through before. Like, literally,
he played through a broken back.
Yeah,
he's one of the toughest guys to play the game.
And he still has such a cannon. He's still athletic. He's a premier quarterback, but because he's played on the worst organization, one of the worst organizations of all time, who just waste generational talent, you never really get to see it. Did you know he leads the league in, I think in the past decade, he has the most come from behind game-winning drives or something like that in the league. And the Lions are fucking horrible. It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's probably all their wins.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he has top 3 most completions over the past 5 years, 15 yards or more.
Yeah.
And he's the fastest ever throw for 40,000 yards.
Yep. It's wild.
Oh my god! If Trent Williams goes to the fucking Rams, my 12-1 bet on the Rams to get to the Super Bowl is going to look pretty nice. I'm going to be pretty excited about it.
Start throwing on Matty Stafford to win the MVP.
Oh, that's a good one too. I don't know what he's at right now.
Probably not. He's probably outside the top 5 candidates, I bet.
Oh, yeah, you have?
That's a good one though.
Did you have Trent Williams as one of your 3?
I did not.
Oh, you did, Bryce, and then Dula, you did not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bryce, you've already said you have Trent and JJ. Yep. Dula said Fitzpatrick. I just said Trent Williams. Dula, give your second.
Second is Corey Davis.
Oh.
Just coming off a contract year and had the best season of his career after the Titans refused to extend him. If the Titans were smart, they'd re-sign him. But there's a chance. I mean, I don't think T.Y. Hilton's leaving the Colts, but he's also a free agent. And if T.Y. Hilton leaves the Colts, I think Corey Davis goes there. There's so many dominoes that have to fall for that to happen. But I do think Corey Davis comes back and plays with the Titans because having him and AJ Brown is just lethal, especially with the way Corey Brown has progressed. Not Corey Brown, that's both of them together. Corey Davis has progressed in the last year. And I'd go as far to say AJ Brown's a top 5 receiver in the league.
Wow.
Or he will be this year.
Okay.
AJ Brown, he was like a lock for anytime touchdown. Like I threw AJ Brown anytime touchdown the past for like 8 weeks in a row and went like 6 for 8, like nuts. Like
Damn.
AJ Brown was finding the end zone like at a stupid rate this year. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so I just think Corey Davis is a very important piece in Titans if they want to make a deep run into the playoffs this year. So I mean, if he doesn't end up with the Titans, I don't even know where he'll go. Like I said, if T.Y. Hilton leaves the Colts, he'll go to the Colts, but I don't see him going anywhere other than Tennessee.
Maybe a Giant. Him or
It's
Curtis
possible,
Samuel.
yeah.
Him or Curtis Samuel.
Or the Jets. I mean, the Jets tend to go after the
Oh
no,
take a shot that way.
There we go.
Oh, crap. Dula, you froze a little bit on that. A tiny bit on that last like sentence or two that you said.
Yeah, you were frozen too.
Oh.
Bryce wasn't because he's not visible.
Rip. Okay. All right. That's a good one. Okay.
He could also go to Atlanta, follow Arthur Smith.
Oh, you're right. Atlanta would be a good one too.
And
they're crowded. Yeah, their receiving core is kind of crowded though.
It's true.
Julio, they got Ridley, you got Gage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then that's a good one. My second, because you've both given 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
My second one is Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
I continue to look at the Allen Robinson. You have Allen Robinson as number 1.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
He was my first one.
Okay, so we both have Allen Robinson. Okay, I just think I keep looking at this guy's numbers, and if you look at the quarterbacks he's played with over his career, I just think this dude's like the most underrated receiver like in the league. Like this dude, can I just throw some shit at you real quick? He is he is the 3rd lowest drop.
First of all, look at his quarterbacks.
That's what I mean. He had Gabbert, he had fucking both Trubisky and Foles, and he had one more. What was that other guy? He had one more.
Oh,
Bortles.
yeah.
He had one more. He had, hold on.
Bortles, right?
In Chicago?
Bortles.
Yeah.
Bortles.
It was Bortles.
Yep. So what the fuck? He has the 3rd lowest drop percentage by any wide receiver in 2020. He has the most contested catches since 2018, and it's not even close. He has the 2nd lowest drop rate since 2017. The Bears are statistically significantly better with him on the field offensively in every downfield category. Every single one. It's more than any other wide receiver on any other team, and it's not even close. There are 29 players with 200-plus targets in the last 2 seasons, and only Allen Robinson has less than 5 drops.
Wow.
This stuff is ridiculous. He has the most contested targets since 2019 with 93. The dude is sensational. And Chicago has to make it a priority to re-sign him. I don't think he's going to go there. The team that I've been like, there's been a lot of rumblings of, and the team that I think that he'll probably end up at this point is Washington. Washington has the cap. They have been talking about how much they want to get McLaurin some help. If you had him, Allen Robinson also is his slot numbers are like next to none, like top 3 in the league for the past like 3 years. He's been one of the best slot receivers as well.
Allen Robinson and Scary Terry, that's
and Washington is the 6th
quarterback though.
It's true.
They need a quarterback, and I'm hearing they like Mac Jones a lot, or that's just who's going to be there, as well as Trey Lance.
Quarterback.
I don't like Mac Jones at all. That dude, I think he sucks. And then Trey Lance is also going to be there. I don't know how you guys feel about Trey Lance, but
I like Trey Lance.
People are speculating they're likely going to take another quarterback at that spot, and if they can get McLaurin some help with Allen Robinson, that could really. If they get someone who can really throw and a quarterback comes in and plays really well right away, they can be pretty good. They can win that division. Like they just won it this year, even with, the Dak stuff really hurt them and everything. But I think Allen Robinson freeing up Terry McLaurin and having both them, especially with how good Allen Robinson's been in the slot the past 3 years, I think it'd be a good signing for them. They have the 6th most cap. So my second is Allen Robinson, and I got him going to Washington.
Question also is maybe they'll roll with Heineke. Who knows?
Oh. Yeah. Anyway,
they shouldn't, but
no,
might.
They signed him, so they see something in him.
Yeah, they got the option.
Yeah,
it's got nuts.
Love Allen Robinson though. Big Allen Robinson fan since college. I went to the Penn State blue and white game. I think I have his autograph. Him and Matt McGloin, baby. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Matt McGloin.
Probably watching from a couch.
See, that's another quarterback Allen Robinson had. It was bad.
Yeah.
he hasn't had a good quarterback since
ever.
High school quarterback was. He hasn't had a quarterback since he's been in the league.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Bryce, you have.
I don't know if you want to go to Washington then.
Well, you got Smitty still. Smitty can ball a little bit. He'll come back. I bet you he comes back.
Yeah.
And then Bryce, you have one more.
I have Levante David. And he is one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. It's not even close. He's literally a star. Everyone talks about the Tom Brady on the Bucs team, but Levante David has been the cornerstone of that defense for the past decade, and he's produced at a high level since he's been on the team. He had some down years with injury and everything, but especially this past season with Devin White by his side, like he still produced like crazy. 117 combined tackles. 6 pass defense. He's one of the better pass defending linebackers in the league. He's up there. It's him and Devin White, and then like Darius Leonard, Bobby Wagner. Those are the best in the business. And he's been doing it for a long time. And he pressures the quarterback really well. But he's a premier linebacker that instantly makes any defense better. We talked about J.J. Watt before, and the reason I have Levante David over J.J. Watt is because a linebacker has such a significant impact, especially a veteran guy like that who now has a Super Bowl ring on his finger, has been playing the game a long time. Like, that's someone of high value, and especially because he had one of his better seasons since like 2014, 2015 this season. He's going to be highly sought after if he doesn't stay in Tampa. And, you know, Tampa has a lot of guys that they're going to have to pay. They got Godwin. Devin White's going to need a contract soon. They have Vita Vea. They got to re-sign Ndamukong Suh if they want to keep him. Like, they got a lot of guys. Antoine Winfield, Ronald Jones. Like, there's a lot of guys that they're going to have to pay. And he's one of the guys that might not make the list because do you stick with the old guy or do you save the cap room for Devin White later down the line? I think he's going to hit free agency mark, and he's going to be – I would want him on my team.
Yeah, we talked about in the Super Bowl pod, the Levante David stuff, especially like those last like 4 games. He was been good the whole year, and then those last 4 games, he was like out of control. Like it was actually out of fucking control how nasty he was. He just was like, he was my 4th. I was meddling back and forth between him and this guy I'm about to say. But yeah. So you think he's going to stay? He's going to get paid and stay?
I don't. I like I said, I think they have so many young guys that they still have to pay. I mean, I guess their hope is like Brady's coming back for another one, so let's try and keep as many together as we can. It depends. It depends on if he's going to go for money.
Think about extending Brady.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. Then they got to extend Brady. Like, there's just so many guys that they have to pay. They brought in on 1-year deals, or they have young guys that they have to save money for down the line. Like, it's a tough situation, especially if they want to run it back. And you might have Chris Godwin. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it, but they have to pay him too. He's probably their biggest offensive free agent. So I don't know. It's a lot.
He is my last guy.
I figured. Yeah, you love Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin is my last guy. Do you want me to just do Chris Godwin now, and then we'll get to Dulas?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
What did Allen Robinson?
What?
Oh, he had Robinson. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's too late to go back to him now.
Godwin. I do think he's gonna get the franchise tag, and I know this has been speculated. A lot of people say this. He's 24 years old. He's like approaching his prime. Like he's not even like in there yet. He's getting there. Brady said, and I'm paraphrasing, that he has the best hands of any guy he's ever played with.
That's crazy.
That
Randy Moss.
and
Randy
that,
Moss,
my,
yeah.
that is why my eyes are as wide as they are, because Tom Brady played with fucking Randy Moss. So
I think he's just trying to make Chris Godwin stay.
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
He doesn't have better
Still,
hands than
though.
Randy Moss.
But look. He's first. Godwin in the past 2 seasons, he is first in yards per target. He's 5th in receiving yards. He's 3rd in reception percentage. He led the league this year in. Speaking of, I said Allen Robinson's good in the slot. Chris Godwin is like the best wideout, like guy who's predominantly wideout in the slot in the whole league. He led the league this year in slot percent targets caught. He's 4th. He has the 4th lowest drop rate since 2017. He is second most in 20+ yard catches since 2019. And Arians has basically come out and said that he is like spoiler alert, like our top priority in the offseason. Godwin likes playing with Evans, and it's nice having those 2 guys side by side. Godwin's 24. He's like emerging, and you just have to keep this guy here. If you're going to keep Brady and go for another ring, and I know you have like other guys who are in their 30s, but you got to lock this guy up at 24 years old. You just have to do it. So for that reason, I have him as my number 1 target.
Bold take. He's better than Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's just tough to give him that title, and Mike Evans has been there so long.
It's true.
Yeah, I'd say if he went to another team, and you'd compare Mike Evans and Godwin stats, Godwin would have better stats on another team.
So is that everybody gets a
95% chance he gets? Yeah, I think there's a 95% chance Godwin gets franchise tagged, and then the year after that, they probably won't be able to afford to keep him, depending on what they do with Brady and Devin White and Shaq Barrett.
And Shaq Barrett is also a free agent.
Shaq Barrett, it was Levante David and Shaq Barrett were 4 and 5 for me when I was making this list. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. All right, so we each went through our 3, and that was good. We've been going for a while.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Russell Wilson might go before we think. He's gonna go. It's the things I'm hearing now are not good.
To this year. Well, not this year, but if you want to get traded, you said the 4 teams you want to get traded to.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, that makes it even worse. It's not a good situation. Yeah. The things that are coming out now, not good.
It was the Bears, the Cowboys,
New Orleans, and
Bears, Cowboys, Saints, and one more.
And Raiders, right?
Oh, and the Raiders, yeah. Yeah, so Bears, Cowboys, Saints, Raiders.
Oh my God, the Cowboys! Imagine, yeah, fuck you, Dak. Oh man. Okay, all right. So that wraps up.
If he goes to the Bears, then Allen Robinson could stay there.
Oh,
true.
Imagine that.
Oh my God, dude. Fuck. Because I also really like David Montgomery. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't have Aaron Jones, really? Connor.
Ooh, Aaron Jones was 6th.
Oh yeah.
Aaron Jones was 6th. I said I had 4 or 5. Shaq Barrett and Levante David. Aaron Jones was 6th because he might go like he.
I'd say he's almost guaranteed to leave Green Bay because Green Bay's going to go with AJ Dillon.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, and I think Aaron Jones is gone.
College.
I don't know what the destination is for him, but I do think Aaron Jones. Like if I had to bet on a guy who I'm like pretty certain is going to be out, like I think it'd be Aaron Jones. But yeah, I don't know where he's going to go. Do you guys have any predictions for him?
I've heard Miami.
He goes to Miami.
I'll be drafting him again.
Yeah,
I'll be drafting him again regardless. But that's my guy. But yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, interesting. There's a lot of. This was really tough. There's a lot of high value guys.
Yeah,
it's hard to grade, especially just. There's so many quality guys. It's rough. It's rough, especially defensively, and I'm a defensive guy, so it's like really, really tough to choose.
That was good. That was good. We all had some good guys. That was pretty good. Any final thoughts?
You just said that.
Any other final?
Those were our final thoughts.
Okay. Any other final thoughts?
I think we're good. I think you can scream the outro now. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Am I screaming? Have I been
Let's see
screaming?
how, let's see how this goes.
You scream. It doesn't matter if we told you or not. You scream every podcast that we've ever done.
Excuse me.
One of my titles was literally Connor screams the whole podcast or something like that.
That was because we couldn't figure out the mics. The mics were fucked that day.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, I'm just a piece of shit. Okay. That'll wrap up this episode of Game Winning Podcast. Okay. That'll wrap up this episode of Game Winning Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And next week we will be back. One of these weeks I'm going to give I have to do something for March Madness because it's coming up. Maybe pre-selection Sunday or something. We'll do something like that. Hopefully there are more headlines this week, and we will be back next Thursday for, well, actually we don't release it this time. Just cut that part out.
Jesus Christ, just end it.
All right, that's it. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week.